Hello, good evening, and welcome to this live stream. How we all doing? Yeah, no French reporters today, Blau. Well, you never know. Anyone could be watching at any time. Maybe she told me she would be watching Sunday, wasn't watching, and then is watching today now that I don't think anyone is taking note. Good time zone to you. It is cold here. It's cold here too, but I think we're using different definitions of cold. Because it's minus 2 degrees currently, Celsius, which is about, I don't know, like 29 Fahrenheit. But your cold is probably more like minus 20, minus 30. Bit hurting shoulder, hope it's over fast, it's annoying. Oh yeah, I've had a shoulder injury, so I know what you mean. That is indeed very annoying. So I hope yours is over fast too. The wife and I are getting a new mattress delivered today. Ooh, nice. Someone is always watching. I hope so. If no one's watching, I'm not doing a stream. Imagine that, me just live streaming and no one showing up. I probably just assume that's a bug in Twitch, to be honest, if no one would show up. How are you gonna break in a new mattress? Duh, how everyone does it. A good night's sleep. Right, before we start, I have been commanded to take a drink. Oh, that's nice. Alright, let's factory that capers. And silence. Ooh. Would you listen to that? Or rather, listen to what you don't hear. Eh? Alright, let's factory this capers, baby. And we'll start with a merry-go-round, of course. Who doesn't start with a merry-go-round? If you don't start with a merry-go-round, you have something mentally wrong with you. And you should be locked up. Is that an overreaction? Nah, I don't think so. Right, $1. I should want to be able to pay that. Drown anyone in the penis pond. Well, you know, on Sunday it took, how long was it? 10 minutes? Before someone made a dick joke? We've made it 4 minutes today. Well, 3 actually, because I was a minute late. Well done. And Slime isn't even here yet. No, he isn't. I don't know. Isn't it a thing that he's not here on Wednesdays because he has to have a life? You know, I appreciate anyone who's here every stream because you don't have a life. So you can waste your unimportant time on me. But Slime actually is someone of import, so he's not here every stream. I'm working from home and not supposed to be here. Very good. I'm free on Wednesday. I'm not. Wednesday evening is the only day, well, the only, one of the only few hours that I always work. Now I want no color there. Well, I mean, green is still color, but... Okay, I need something in between there that's like halfway their height. Eh. You know, that works. It's true, I have no life whatsoever and I play RCT. You know, playing RCT is a good spending of your no life. I watched someone else that does almost daily streams and I had a 25-day view streak. Okay. But does that mean watching 2 hours every day? Or does that mean watching at least like 5 minutes every day? Because I'm currently on a 12-day streak of doing quizzes on the quiz website Jetpunk. But that doesn't mean I've spent a lot of time on there every day. Sometimes I'll do only a few. Like maybe 2 or 3 and that takes maybe 10 minutes in total. Right, let's build some stalls. As soon as I'm done benching the place. Does this factory have any lore? What is it making? Good question. Well, we can make up some lore. What if this factory was making factories, according to some integrals? What does your factory make? Well, it makes smaller factories. That is such, like, a cartoon joke. You know, you'll have some big factory, and then of some kind of conveyor belt are smaller versions of the exact same factory. It looks like it's doing something with metal dice, so the flames. Metal dice? I know what you mean, there's a lot of fire here. So they're probably smelting or heating up something. What could it be? I don't know why I typed dice. You know, I feel you. You know what my problem is? I often just forget words. And sometimes those words are negators. I'll forget the word not or whatever. Which is really annoying. Like, I'll say it in my head, but I won't actually type it. Or I'll, like, start off a sentence one way, like in one sense of time, and then I'll finish it off a different way, and then I'll have the wrong tense of the verb, or whatever. You know, for example, I don't like to doing that. Something like that I happen to type on occasion, because I start off with a sentence where doing makes sense and then I switch up halfway and it makes no sense. But I still type it because I have the memory of an elephant with dementia and the motor skills of a brick. Alright, I still have to drown someone in the penis pond. When that first was requested, we had no guest, so I couldn't do it yet. There you go, guest 73. Name the park the Slime Factory. Alright. Right in the testicle. Wouldn't you like to drown in someone's testicles? Right. Stalling time. Have you ever visited a real-life factory? Good question. I want to say yes, because I probably have. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of factory it would have been, you know? I've been to the Lind chocolate factory / museum. I've never heard of Lind. But I've probably, at least with like primary school or whatever, been to some kind of factory. Okay. What color will we do today? We will do light purple. Kids in 2050 be like, have you ever visited a real life office building? Oh, office buildings aren't going to go away. They will stay around. Like, working from home is a thing, but it won't replace everything. Right, time for a coaster, because currently we're not making a lot from the park entrance. So, how about a big old Woody? Okay, that's maybe a bit too big. I think that's the nicer size. And we have a spiral roller coaster available. The spiral roller coaster is one of my least favorite coaster types. I really dislike the spiral coaster. Like, it actually sucks. It's just ugly. Isn't Spiral just junior but worse? Well, its stats are, like, comparatively a lot better. It can do more. It can do steep. But the trains are ugly. And the problem with the Spiral coaster is that it's kind of a bigger coaster type. But at the same time, making it big doesn't look nice. Because it's a small coaster track. Add to that ugly trains. And it's just ugly. I just really don't like the Spiral coaster. In fact, I might dislike it even more than the Mini-Sus. The Mini-Sus is the worst coaster in the game, but like, and I don't like it. But it can still look nice, you know? And the problem with the Spiral coaster is that, sure, it's okay, it's got a really good stat ratio, one of the best in the game, but its stats aren't that high, so in that sense, it's not that great, it's not anything special. It has a low throughput, because of the stupid trains. And it's ugly, it's just not much good about it. So I don't like the Spiral roller coaster. Mini sus was slightly better in vanilla. It could do longer trains. Yeah, that's fair. And like, sure, if you only have the spiral coaster, the mini sus and the steeplechase available, obviously the spiral coaster is the best. But it's so, because of its low throughput, it's so very, very rare that the spiral coaster is your best option. So that's almost never a reason to use it either. So it doesn't look nice. It's almost never the best option. Like, there's not much good about it. Alright, how about we charge 15? Ooh, green is a bit of a statement. It can do longer trains in RST2 if you cheat. I mean, if you cheat, you can just give yourself money. Now that is a statement. That is a hell of a statement. If you then also do these trains. Ooh, that's very, very, very green. This is just so incredibly bright. I don't like this, but it does have something about it, doesn't it? This looks much more factory-like. But isn't this like one of the base color schemes? Maybe it's like that. I want something a bit more exciting than the base colors, than a base color scheme. This is nice. Quite like this. Got some decent stats on it. With 6.5 excitement, 8 intensity and 4.5 nausea. Right, let's do some decorating. We can definitely... Like, can we put a roof under there? No. Okay, we can't do a roof there. I mean, we can do a roof on top of it. How tall is that? Okay, yeah, we can't do a wall piece there. That's a shame. You know, we'll just keep it to a tunnel. That'll have to do. Very good evening, Max Arceus. How are we doing tonight? Okay, while we decorate this, I have a question. So today on Reddit, I saw someone who asked whether it's normal for some people to eat family dinner every night, which means just with your parents and your siblings and whoever else might be living in the house, right? And a lot of people said, well, I didn't as a kid, but I do now with my kids or something like that, or no, or yes, we make a point of it to do that. And I was a bit taken aback by all those answers because in my experience, like, that's not a weird thing to do. Like, in the Netherlands saying, yeah, we make a point to always eat a family dinner. At least in my experience with the people I know, that's, like, you don't make a point of that. That's just what you do. So I'm kind of curious, like, where are you from? And in your country, is eating family dinners normal? Because I've never met anyone where it wasn't normal. And every time I've had dinner at a friend's place or something, I always just ate with them and their family. And I didn't expect anything else. Okay, I don't want too many flames. Is this OpenRCT2? Yes, it is. Okay, so far only yes votes on family dinners. Like, even if our parents went out for dinner later in the evening, they would, like, get us leftovers or frozen pizza. Well, out of the microwave, of course. Or the oven, I mean. But, and they would still sit with us while we ate. They wouldn't eat with us, they would go out of dinner after that. But we would get dinner fairly early, they'd sit with us, and then they'd go out after that. So it was still sort of a family dinner. Is it worth getting if you cleared RCT Classic? Yes, it doesn't work with Classic as far as I know, though maybe it might, I'm not sure. I've heard people saying it does, but don't quote me on that. But if you're gonna get RCT2 and open RCT2, then hell to the yeah. Like, there's nothing better. Where are those walls? Ah, there they are. Stu uses OpenRCT2. Okay, but do you know if he does that with his classic or if he just also owns RCT2? Wait, how's that on that tile? Wait, what? Hang on. I'm confuzzled. Wait, I thought I tried building it on that side and it didn't work? Yeah, now it works? Well, that's odd. Well, anyway, I was just mistaken, obviously. Not really a thing once you're not with them in my country. You mean the family dinners? What do you mean once you're not with them? Like, once you move out or something? Because obviously I don't eat dinner with my parents anymore because I've moved out. I mean, yeah, that's obvious. Although, every now and then, like, I don't know, like... Oh, that's too high. Like, once every 2 weeks or so on average, I still eat dinner with them. And it's not like they specifically make dinner for me. It's just like, hey, can I come over, have dinner, and talk about this or do this after that? Then, yeah, they'll just, you know, make sure there's enough for the three of us, but... And make sure they make something that I don't dislike. But other than that, it's business as usual. I also had friends whose parents didn't have family dinner. It was often fend for yourself on the special occasions. Yeah, I find that odd. Like, if you're 10 years old, are you just expected to go to the fridge and get leftovers? Do you have staffing? Nope. Or does mom just cook a big pot of food early in the evening and can you get something from it throughout the night whenever you like? I've also seen people eating in their room. Like, is there anyone here who as a teen ate in their room sometimes? Because I would not have been allowed to do that. I never asked. If I did ask, then my mom would probably be like, "Are you alright?" Like, she would have just been worried about me. Sometimes we did eat in front of the TV if we happened to have dinner while something important was on, like speed skating. But we would still eat as a family, just in front of the TV, but that was a rare occasion. We have our kids come round once a month for Sunday roast dinner. I mean, yeah, but, you know, that's after they've moved out. I'm talking when the kids are still living at home. And it's interesting hearing different people with different experiences. And of course, I'm fairly privileged coming from a family that didn't really have many issues. I mean, my father wasn't an easy man. Oh, apparently I do have a mechanic. But other than that, you know, I had two functioning parents who weren't alcoholics or drug users, and we had plenty of money. And they were not neglectful. Feed 69 to the dick pond. You know, that's a cent. Oh, I do have staff. I just forgot I hired staff. This isn't there when you start. Yeah, I do have staff apparently. I thought maybe the one mechanic was there when you start, but no, I just hired and forgot. Feed 69 to the dick pond. It might have been the first time someone's ever said that, and you're also too late. 69 is dead. I once had to eat dinner on the stair as a punishment. I mean, yeah, okay, you know, that's a fairly normal thing to have to do something like that. 96, also gone. You know, if you actually spend time decorating your rides, then yeah, I understand why people are not beating scenarios. Because we can only charge 15, roughly. And we're halfway year one, we only have 275 guests, which is on schedule, by the way, for Factory Capers, but only barely. Make from guest 106... 69. Alright. And die. Don't forget to save. Good one. Whoops, I think caps lock was on. Did you know that in a lot of these scenarios, the guests only come through the entrance on one of the three? Here they only come through the middle, I believe. Do you think the lake was intentionally penis-shaped or just a coincidence? Pretty sure... Well, probably a coincidence, but I'm not sure. But likely. Hey, thank you for the 24 months, Biscreate. Yes, it's been 2 years already. Time goes by fast, doesn't it? By the way, I'm working on like 4 videos at the moment. Because I'm working on the Not a Barkistacrone video, I'm working on the stall icons video, I'm working on the... there's a Q&A that I asked questions for. There's Amity Airfield video. For Amity Airfield 4 tiles video that has practically been written. I mean, I haven't started writing it yet, but like all the research is done and there's a solution, so it's sort of been written. Well, the research basically has been done. I've started Useless Facts 2. Started collecting for that. So there's lots of stuff going on at the moment. Not a Brachistochrone curve. Yeah, no, not a Brosista curve, whatever you said. So yeah, if you do have useless facts, do tell me. Because I am on the lookout for more useless facts, and I'm not planning to release that necessarily anytime soon. But someone shared a wonderfully useless fact, and I was like, that would have been a great video for a useless fact. And people were like, well, time for useless facts too. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I wrote that down. Hello, Magic Geeks, welcome. If you ever wanted to branch out to IRL content, might be an idea to go around Europe, the world to visit RCT2 coasters. Well, I could at least start in the Netherlands and have it not be as expensive. In Walibi. Several scenarios use the darker sand colors as shadows of objects. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't know that, but it's a good one. Useless facts too. Let me write that down. I'll just write it down quickly. Dark ground texture shadows. I'll turn it into a script a bit later. Thank you. I'm not sure if I ever want to do kind of that like a vlog-like content. I do want to make my first IRL video this year, but I have something very different in mind. Something that starts with an F. Yeah, the space station in Future World is the one that I knew about. I hadn't seen the others, but I checked out Schneider Cup. Someone said that somewhere. Might have been you, Max. None of you is right, and none of you is going to be right. Unless I've said this somewhere online, which I don't think I have. No one of you can possibly guess this. If I have said it online, then yeah, you could possibly get it. Flying Dutchman gold mine doesn't exist anymore. Is it even gone from France? Because it was moved to France in 2010 or so. Frisian horse. Fruby Booby, what the hell is that? Or are you just mashing random keys in an attempt to be funny? As I said, it's literally, I mean, it's not literally impossible. You could theoretically get it by trying random stuff, but I'm willing that none of you even know this exists. Keep it English, please, Captain Joe Starmaster. And also, I will never watch New Kids. I never have and I never will. Okay, we can charge 40 now with the help of a launched free fall. Ew, that's a disastrous color combination. I love the maroon. The maroon might be one of my favorite colors. One of my favorite new colors that OpenRST2 brought. It's such a rich color. Same goes for the dark purple, by the way. Dark purple and maroon are the two most regal colors. Are you going to speed skate in Finland? I mean, the F thing would be Finland, right? You guys all know Finland exists. I'm pretty sure you guys all don't know this thing exists that starts with an F that I want to make a video about. Unless, as I said, I've mentioned it somewhere online that you can find, but I don't think I have. I mean, if someone guesses it, I'll be very impressed, but you're wasting your breath. And I'm not even sure if I'll ever make that video. I just have the intention to. Freizeitpark Gelsenkirchen. You know, I didn't know that existed. But that's the wrong way around. Franz Bauer, oh god, my mom hates him so much. Like, not actively, it's not like she'll randomly go like, oh my god, I hate Franz Bauer. But if ever, like, he's on TV or his songs come up somewhere and she's always like, ugh. I get that. I truly get that. I know an 11-letter F word, but I don't think you'd be allowed to post a video about it here. Is it a different word for fornicate or a different word for gay person? I mean, those aren't 11 letters, but they might start with that. Because, yeah, no. I'm not making a video about that. Fornicating. No, that's I mean, there are definitely like educational videos where you can see nudity on YouTube. I'm not sure if there are videos where they actually say like, hey, here's how you have sex. I've never looked. You know, we should probably make this earthy. To make it a bit more plausible that we have trees there. If you make your hand into the ball and then make that into a verb. Yeah, that's not very PG, is it? Although the thing I have in mind is it's kind of PG, but also not really. It's funny, because after this stream you guys will have forgotten all about it if I don't mention it again. And then, if that video ever drops, then you'll be like, some of you might remember it. And if the video never drops, if I never make it, I'll have hyped you all up for nothing. Which is also funny. It is fornicating. You know, I'm not sure if I would classify actual fornicating as kind of PG. But maybe I'm just weird. French reporter does start with an F. Yes, but if you do your best, you can make nearly anything start with an F just by putting some kind of adjective in front of it. Foot massage. Kind of PG, but not for some people. I would love to get a good foot massage. Or just a good massage in general. I mean, I could just go to a massage parlor, I guess. Feet pics. I don't think I would end up on Wiki Feet. Because, you know. I mean, I know there are dudes on there. There's a separate Wiki Feet men. But like, who would ever want to see my feet? They're not especially attractive. I need me some interlocking loops. Well, not on this coaster. I forgot the word. What's the thing where if you, like, on the tips of your fingers, if you play guitar a lot or you've used them a lot, like the thick stuff, eelt in Dutch. Like, what's the English word for that? That you build up over time. Callus, yes. Thank you. So I have calluses on my feet, and I don't mean on the bottom, because that's, you know, if you walk a lot, that's kind of usual. But like in front of my big toe. And I don't really know how. I think just maybe the way I walk means that they bump onto the shoe a lot. On the, like, the top of the shoe. But yeah, they've built up over the past, I don't know, like 5 years or whatever. You probably have bad fitting shoes, but I mean, I keep wearing different shoes that fit me nicely, like, that are very comfortable to wear. Because I've worn lots of different shoes over the years. I mean, they kind of appeared when I gained some weight. So, might have something to do with that. You know, if you have to carry more weight around or something. I mean, I don't really mind that it's there. It's not like... It's not in the way. But it's funny, because I was on the beach with my brother a while ago. And we didn't go swimming, but we did like take our shoes off and go a little bit into the water. And he was like, wait, what's that? And I was like, oh yeah, that's there. For me, it was already entirely normal. But yeah, for him it wasn't. But the thing is, you know, I've worn many different shoes in that time. But they've only appeared fairly recently, aka, I don't know, like last 5 years or so. So that would mean that I have either suddenly started buying ill-fitting shoes, or I suddenly forgot how to tie my shoes properly. I would love to get a foot massage, give a foot massage. I mean, I wouldn't be against giving a foot massage, you know, to a significant other or something. Not that I have one, but... And not because I think it's sexy, but just because, you know, giving someone a massage, if it feels good for them, it's just, you know, a nice thing to do. I think the supportive souls even get paid back with Dutch health insurance. That's... Perhaps. But as I said, it's not like it's in the way for me, so... It's not really high on my priority list to do anything about it. If anything, it might even be helpful. Because if something ever does fall on it or whatever, on exactly that spot, there's a built-in cushion. The soles can also help with back-hip issues. Well, I have none. Yet. Good point. You know what? I should probably at some point go to, you know, because it's just a good idea in general to know if you need like that extra support or something. So yeah, it's probably a good idea. Calluses can lead to cracking on your feet, which leads to infections. I mean, it doesn't lead to cracking on your hand, so... Can you kindly answer my question, Avi? I think you missed my bit here, so it's a friendly reminder. Well, you know, Waluigi, I did register it, but you know, it's 15 bits, and doing this is kind of like it's literally giving me 15 cents and saying answer my question. Like if it was $1 or $2, it's a bit different, but. You know, you do this a lot, and I do appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I do appreciate the support. But sometimes I'll be talking about something else, I might not, or the question doesn't necessarily interest me. Because I don't have time to answer all the questions that come anyway, because, you know, too many questions in a short period of time. And you can't necessarily expect your question to be answered just by paying 10 or 15 cents every time. And sure, if at the time I got really nothing much else going on, then sure, but this time we were having a conversation. I need... that. Alright, and then a few more. Perfect. I also need that around this. Hang on, I have something else in mind. Do we have that available? Maybe here? No, I was thinking of the kind of the steel wall. But I think those might come with a scenery set that we don't have. Alright, let's drink some water. Because your feet can develop much thicker calluses which do crack. I have a friend who is a podiatrist. Never heard that word. And he has clients who have had to have a foot amputated because of cracked calluses not being dealt with for years. Alright, fair enough. You sure like dark purple? Yes, I do. Although the plan I had for here was not dark purple, but the thing I do want, I don't have access to. It's not that. But this'll do. Still some kind of steel, right? Alright, time to get out of cutaway view again. Alright, that works. Yeah, kind of like a foot doctor. I mean, I figured. I just never heard the term. Alright, what are the stats here? 6.67, 7.93, 3.51. Not bad. Okay, how much do guests actually spawn with? Now, yeah, well, let's start advertising. And let's see how much they spawn with. 48? What a weird set of numbers. Okay, for 48 to 78. Well, then we'll charge 48. Now that's a lot of guests. How about the dodgems? I do have a question for you guys. If you need to have one limb amputated, would you rather lose an arm or a leg? I know what my answer will be, and I think many of you have the same answer. This is too loud, unfortunately. Okay, so a lot of you say leg. I would have the same answer. Because if I was missing a leg right now, not much would change. Like, not much would change for my work, I mean. Like, literally right now. I could still sit and live stream. I could still make YouTube videos the same. Anything on the computer I could still do the same, right? Walking would be more difficult. It would still, of course, absolutely suck. Ooh, that's very dark. But it would be much easier to deal with for me, or, well, less hard to deal with, I guess, than losing an arm. Because, yeah, you can walk fairly well with prosthetic legs. But being precise with a prosthetic arm doesn't quite yet work. I love how there are either just supports going through the dodgems, or it's kind of the supports are built on the roof of the dodgems. Either way is weird. There's a YouTuber called Josh Sundquist who is missing a leg because of cancer, I think. And he makes you know, motivational content. He's also just a professional motivational speaker. But he also sometimes just makes funny videos. And he once made a video with Tomska, where it's a very, very short video. And the premise is basically like that he accidentally deleted his leg. But Tomska usually does a lot of, like, special effects. So a lot of people thought it was some special effect. Didn't realize that, no, the guy was actually just missing a leg. The guest at the top of the guest list. Guest 2. Who has had a good time in the park so far, but is not going to survive. Let him finish his burger. You can do that. In hell! No one's finishing a burger in my park. This will be our kind of alien city bit. Something like that. You know what, we can give that soon a space entrance, and we can, you know, do a little space thing around here. It'll be neat. Ooh, thank you for the sub, Mr. Wakey Eggs Mushy Bakey. Very interesting name. Right, a roof. There you go. And then future, or well, rather space. Ta-da! Doesn't that look nice? Keep it up with the classics, hell yeah. There's no better classic game than Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I mean, perhaps not entirely true. There's Age of Empires 2, which is also amazing. In my youth, I crewed on a drag racing team. The driver crashed at a big race after a tire blowout. When the medic got there, he handed him his leg prosthetic and the medic fainted. Oh. The medic was like, wait. The medic thought it was like a real leg. I was like, did you just lose your leg? Isn't it ironic how Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is more classic than RCT Classic? It's not really ironic, it's just funny. A lot of people use the word ironic wrong, including me. Lots of things that we call ironic aren't ironic, just coincidences. It does annoy me that people misuse the word Mandela effect. Because, sure, food being salty in Roller Coaster Tycoon might be a Mandela effect because lots of people have the same false memory. Although, it's not really a Mandela effect if it was literally told to you by the manual. And that's just false info. Because you do remember correctly that it was said. But a lot of people say, when they misremember something, they say, oh, Mandela effect. You know, people on my Discord server, they might say, you know, I thought it was like this, but it might just be Mandela effect. And I'm always like, internally like, that's not the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is only when a large group of people have the same false memory. You misremembering a little fact about some game, nothing to do with the Mandela effect. Although people, yeah, I was about to say that, Max. People misremembering how the Mandela effect works could maybe be a Mandela effect. And of course the Mandela effect is real. I mean, it's also not. Like, the fact that lots of people have the same wrong memory is real, but the explanation some people give for it, like parallel universe and shit, obviously that's not real. I still remember Pikachu having that black tip on his tail. Even still have a drawing I made with that. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy mistake to make. Yeah, there are tons of things like that that people misremember because it's an easy mistake to make. Oh, name a ride of your choice we had a few minutes ago. What was it? Salmon Twister. Wait, name what the Salmon Twister? I'm not sure. The coaster, you mean the corkscrew? I guess that's the most recent one I built. It won't be salmon colored, but I can still call it Salmon Twister. Only wants the Fruit of Loom one. I'm sure it had a cornucopia. That's where I learned the word cornucopia from. But apparently some people claim that it never did. But they changed it and erased all the evidence to distance themselves from a lawsuit. Okay, so what I did see about that is that apparently in some like old patent things or whatever, there were, like the official logo never had it, but there were still drawings of the logos where it did have a cornucopia. So presumably some people saw drawings of the logo with the cornucopia somewhere and other people repeated it somewhere, and even though the official logo never had it, there were still like some official drawings with it which weren't the official logo, but you know, that's how it could easily be spread. And to me that makes total sense how that could work, because it's not the logo, but it's still something they introduced themselves at some point. I'm not American, so I had never heard of Fruit of the Loom until it was discussed as a Mandela effect. Alright, and then we go down. Alright, looping time. And we can interlock with this. I don't know if I've ever been part of a Mandela effect, to be honest. I can't, off the top of my head, remember one. And I've never seen one where I was like, hey, yeah, I remember remembering the wrong thing. But it's also that most things are either longer ago, that don't make sense for me. Like Mandela dying in the 80s, like I was born in 1996, so obviously I don't have that memory. Or they're American. Like the Berenstain Bears. Like, yeah, they don't exist here, so yeah. Of course I don't have that false memory, because I don't remember it at all. I didn't experience the original Mandela effect because I remember when he actually died in the 2010s. I mean, yeah, same. But also, you know, the 1980s thing was before our time. What does Darth Vader tell Luke when he tells him he's his father? No, I'm your father. Not Luke, I'm your father. But I never watched Star Wars. So I only ever saw the quote. So yes, I did think it was Luke, I'm your father. But I did not remember wrong. Because people simply, like, people quoted it like that, so I remembered the quotes I read correctly. It's just that the quotes were wrong, but that's not my memory being wrong. That's you know, that's like when you do the salt thing from RCT, from the manual. You remember correctly, the manual was just wrong. Also, like the Luke, I'm your father thing makes sense, right? Because if you randomly quote that and say, no, I am your father, doesn't make a lot of sense. So people just probably change it to Luke, I'm your father, because then everyone knows what you mean. Everyone knows what you're referencing. It's real easy. Let's make them 1 car shorter, so we can have 3. Awesome. I actually watched the video from Marcel on the RCT2 manual, and I began to think Chris made the game after making the manual. In all likelihood, well, we're pretty much sure that Chris didn't write the manual. That's usually some other company that does that, I've been told. But I do wonder what some common misconceptions are. Maybe the Monopoly, like, I mean common misconceptions specifically to the Netherlands are. Like the Monopoly man having a monocle. I don't know if I remember it having a monocle. Because when I saw that mentioned for the first time, I just didn't know what I remembered, so I don't know if I actually had that false memory. Because it doesn't have a monocle, by the way. If you have a chatbot automatically write a manual, is it still a manual or an auto now? Good question. It's still a false memory shared by a large group and you were part of that group. I assume you mean the... with the Luke, I'm your father thing. On one hand, you're right. On the other hand, I did remember correctly. It's just that other people told me wrong. And if you ask me, why do you think that that is the correct answer? My answer is, yeah, I've seen quotes of that and I remember it being like that. And I would be right. So it wouldn't be a false memory. While people, like, if we go to the origin of the Mandela effect, you know, Mandela dying in the 80s, which he didn't. People saying, well, I saw it on TV, they are Mandela effect. But saying, oh, I thought he died because my aunt told me or whatever. That's not the Mandela effect. Because I do think for the Mandela effect to count, you have to actually have seen the original thing when it happened and misremember and, you know, seen it correctly and then misremember that correct thing as something else. There's a couple of path tiles at the ground and there wasn't painted. Oh yeah, right. I kind of know a Dutch Mandela effect, but then again, it's not a Mandela effect actually. Many old people just actively misremember what... Oh. Speaking of war, I made that post about the Q&A, right? I got a lot of really interesting questions. But I also got a question from someone, which I since deleted. It was like, who do you support in between Israel and Palestine? And I'm like, first off, that's not a question you should ask me. But also, do you think that's a question I would answer? Like, that's very inappropriate. And that's of course why I deleted it. But it is kind of a thing, right? And I don't mean like this issue specifically, but like some people expect celebrities, and I'm calling myself a celebrity here, which may be a bit presumptuous, but it fits here, that celebrities just have an opinion on things that they should give. Like, years ago on Twitter, someone randomly randomly tagged me and say, does Marcel support gay rights? Or something like that. And yeah, of course I do, but randomly asking me that publicly, not even in a DM, just publicly, it's just like, that's so weird. And I don't think very appropriate. And if I don't want to talk about gay rights in my live streams or videos, then I don't have to. Like, I just make Roller Coaster Tycoon videos. The only thing I'm obliged to talk about in my videos is Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I can even make videos about other stuff if I want to, but it's just weird. Makes me a little bit uncomfortable. The current Middle East crisis comes to mind for things that celebrities are asked to weigh in on, especially on social media, which is a hard place to have a nuanced conversation, even when the subject deserves it. Exactly. And add to that a lot of people don't have an informed opinion on a lot of things. Like, we have several different wars going on currently. Of course, the two big ones, but also several smaller ones, like in Yemen there's a civil war. Lots of wars. Like, it's nearly impossible to have an informed opinion on every single one. It's just too much. So, on a lot of things you just won't have an informed opinion, which is fine. But then suddenly, when you're a celebrity, some people do expect you to. That's not my job. My job is to be funny and to be interesting, make interesting videos about Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's my job. Let the news tell you about what's going on in the world. Like, sure, if you want to know about the newest roller coaster game, ask me. That's what I'm for. Then my opinion is more informed than the average person's. But if it's about, current issues outside of video games, I don't know anything more than you do. And I'm not stupid enough. Because whatever I will say on a lot of these issues, I will get cancelled. Well, not really cancelled, but I will get hate. Like, I made the gay rights video, right? About the what's it called? The Marketplace RCT on Trinity Islands. And I got a lot of hate for that. Which is fine, because they're just stupid people anyway, so good thing they stopped watching. But if I made a video speaking out against gay rights, the hate would be even bigger. Deservedly so. So the only way for me to keep everyone happy, or nearly everyone, is to not say anything. And gay rights is a lot less divisive than a lot of current issues in the world. So it's a lot safer to support gay rights, right? Except when you screw with people and do tons of rainbow rights and all the various LGBTQ flags. The rainbow rights have been in my videos in the background for a long time. And of course they've been a big part of the streams as well. Like, it's absolutely hilarious when we were like, oh, suddenly you push this gay shit onto us. Like, no, it's not suddenly. Like, sure, I haven't really explicitly supported gay rights on my YouTube channel before, but rainbow rights are everywhere in my videos, and I've been on the stream, we've been gaying it up for years. It's so dumb, because rainbow cause pretty colors, why are you forcing the gay agenda? I mean, you get a point, but I don't really agree with it in this case, because I was clearly pushing the gay agenda, because, you know, I always call them pride slides or gaybo Ferris wheels or whatever, and, like, in that video with all the gay flags, yeah, I was literally saying, hey, gay people are just people, be nice. But that's pretty much all I was saying. You know what? Hiding vegetation only, instead of just all scenery, for once comes in handy to me. And yes, I will do purple again, because I bloody like purple. You know, people saying that I'm suddenly pushing the gay agenda, it's like people saying that Rage Against the Machine is suddenly political. Like, people have actually said that. Like, you know, I think, like, I don't know, over the past years they've said some political things. And they were like, oh, they're suddenly political, they should just keep with making music. It's like, oh, these walls are what I was looking for. It's like, do you even listen to the lyrics? Like, Killing in the Name Of is literally a song about police brutality against black people. It's not exactly subtle. But for some people, I guess it is too subtle. I don't know how to properly build a coaster. Okay, 2 tips. Only have one chain lift hill and keep it short. Like this height or something. And bank every single turn, unless you're going like 10 kilometers an hour. And then just build. Avoid straight sections. Because what a lot of people do is they'll go like 50 meters up, go down, and then have some very fast turns. But if you just limit your first chain lift, then you have a certain energy put into the car, into the train, and you can never get more. If you don't put any additional chains or boosters. So you have to do it with that. And that makes it a lot easier to keep the ratings down. And you may notice that this roller coaster has not a single straight piece in it. There's no single normal straight track piece on this roller coaster. In fact, most of my roller coasters, except maybe a bit at the end of the start, will have that. This wooden coaster, not a single straight track piece, normal straight track piece. This corkscrew coaster, nope. Junior coaster, nope. Got some brakes, but there's not a single, in this entire park, there's no single straight track piece. Now, it's not a problem to have like very short straight sections. And of course, at the end and the beginning, I do use them sometimes. But some people build very weird roller coasters, right? They'll start, have a chain lift, and then, they'll go down from that chain lift. And then they'll, go like this. Then they'll maybe do a turn, and then they'll do that. Another turn, and then they'll go like that, and then maybe a little bit down, and then, they'll build like that, which is ridiculous. If you just don't use straight pieces, or maybe not more than one in a row, or two in a row, like sometimes you do need them to align or whatever, then you can avoid that. I only learned that there are diagonal chain lifts in the game, I think about 2017. There's so much stuff I didn't learn until I started playing this game hardcore. Ah, that's some good water. No straights allowed on this stream. Hell yeah. Screw the straights. Screw me. Drink some water. Of course, that was predictable. I do find all the, all the new gay stuff, which I mean, like, suddenly you have a lot more trans people, suddenly you have, like, pansexual, demisexual, that kind of stuff. I do find it very interesting. And what I mean, suddenly you see that, it's like, of course, they existed beforehand, but suddenly you see a lot more because people are more comfortable coming out with it. And I find it very interesting, and then sometimes I'm like, really? That's a thing? I don't really get it, but whatever. If that's a thing, that's apparently a thing. And it's especially funny getting people's reaction to it. Like, someone might say, I'm demisexual. And my reaction to that is like, okay, I don't really get how that's different from being bisexual, but sure. Some people is like, oh my god, the woke agenda. It's really funny that they're like getting so angry at it. I mean, it's not really funny for the people who suffer from it, of course, but it's funny to see it. Demisexual is closer to asexual than bisexual. Isn't it kind of basically in between? It's like a half asexual bisexual. Or is that entirely wrong? Hey, thank you for the sub. Pac-Man 037, and thank you for the 3 months. Svo Fanatic. Demi is just when you don't really ever have much sexual content. It's just when you don't have the initial sexual attraction to someone. Yeah, I would probably, like, in my head, that's more like, okay, that's just a difference in personalities, I guess, but that's just me not understanding it. But I also don't really need to. Like, that's the funny thing. You don't need to understand it. You just need to, like, be accepting of it and be like, if someone says they're demisexual, you'll just have to, the only thing you have to be is just like, alright, cool, that's it. It's so easy. Like, I met someone in a friend group of someone else that was gender fluid. And, like, I'd heard of the concept gender fluid before. I knew what it was. And I can understand being trans. I can understand being gay or all that stuff. I can't understand being gender fluid. My brain just doesn't let me understand that, which is fine. Because there are lots of more things that I can't understand. But it was really... It was a bit weird, because they mostly presented as female. And we were playing Among Us. And at some point, I made, like, the joke, a multitasking joke, because, you know, women can multitask. I was like, you're a woman, of course you can multitask. It was something like that. And then I was like, wait, oops. Yeah, it just didn't really matter. It's just, you know, it's just a silly mistake. They didn't mind very much. I just said sorry and we moved on. It's a bit difficult to wrap my head around. But it's all fine. Like, no one really cares much if you make the little mistakes. You just apologize and you go on. You know, you've been using they, them for single person your entire life, Table Fantasy. If you don't know someone's gender, then you will use they. Like, if you have an appointment with, I don't know, like a doctor or whatever, and you don't know your doctor, then they'll be like, then you'll be like, I'll have an appointment with them at 3 PM. It's just how grammar works. In Dutch, it's a lot more confusing, by the way. Because Dutch doesn't have a word like the singular day. I mean, people are using hen, which is kind of the word for day, but we don't use it as a singular day in everyday, in everyday life, in everyday language, in everyday speech. So it's a lot more clunky. Even worse are languages like Italian, where like a word might depend on whether you identify as male or female. Like, good luck with that. I remember doing Spanish in school and it was all masculine and feminine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the same for French. Like, verbs are all masculine and feminine. And, you know, I think you might say, like, un beau homme, which is a beautiful man, and une belle femme, which is a beautiful woman, I think. So, beau is beautiful for men, and belle is beautiful for women. So, what's it for a non-binary person? That word doesn't exist. Maybe you use the plural, like beau with an X? I don't know. I don't know how French people are doing that. But English at least has they, and words don't depend on gender. So the English folks have it easy. Here in Sweden we actually have the word man to refer to anyone and everyone. It is unspecified who you're talking about. The closest approximate I can think in English is you, or perhaps one, as in one should. Ah, right. I've heard dienst for Dutch non-binary pronouns. Very confusing, but those not being regular Dutch words in that context. Yeah. Because just saying they, like, yeah, it's a bit weird for me saying they when I know someone, when I do know someone. But, you know, it's fine. But it's not that weird because you use it already when you don't know someone's gender. You know, I don't know a lot of your genders. So I'll say, oh, star shells, they're cool, something like that. Like, I don't know what you identify as. I don't really care. And, you know, that's very normal already, so that helps a lot. Makes things a lot easier. In Dutch, I would say zij is, of hij. I would say hij or zij, which he or she. It's not really, yeah. It's just a bit clunky because we don't have that functionality. I remember I was in voice chat with you once, and as far as I remember, I'm a convert he, him. I mean, that's a good assumption to make anyway, for me, because most of my viewers are men, and most people are cisgendered. You're likely to be right if you do that. And I think I did remember that with you, but of course I don't remember that for everyone. A lot of people have just never said it in the first place. Some languages like Finnish don't have separate gender pronouns, just one word. Yeah, I've heard that about Finnish. Which is even easier than English, because there's not a big deal. Like, you're non-binary, okay, well for pronouns that doesn't matter. It's literally the exact same. For other things it does, of course, but... at least for pronouns, it's easy. Wait. Just realized something about this scenery item. Call me stupid if you must, because this is kind of stupid. I just realized that this bottom thing is a cube. Like, obviously, from this angle and that angle, it's a cube. But from this angle, it kind of looks just like a 2D thing with a cube on top of it. Even though you can kind of see the behind thing, but... I always saw it as that. I always saw it as a like a square with a cube on top of it. I guess I don't use it that much, and if I do, I don't really rotate it much. And it's also if you've, because I probably thought of it as a square with a cube on top of it for the first time like over 20 years ago. And once you have it as something in your head, even if you do see it from a different angle once, it's difficult to correct that. Like, it doesn't automatically correct itself. Yeah, it's just 2 cubes. I just realized that. Hey Marcel, thanks for the great content, man. I binge watch your videos in the airplane. Ooh, nice. Thank you. I know a lot of trans, non-binary people, and if you call them the wrong pronouns, 99 of them will just let you know they're correct ones. Yeah. Of course. Like, as I said, with that gender fluid person, like, I've used wrong pronouns. Of course I have. Like, I didn't know them beforehand. That was the first time I ever interacted with someone who I knew was gender fluid. Of course I use the wrong pronouns sometimes. It doesn't really matter. You just, either you realize yourself, you say sorry, and that's it, or they just ignore it, or they say, hey, I identify as male today or whatever. It's fine. That's just a general rule in life, to be honest. Most people are reasonable. Sure, they're dicks. But most people are reasonable. You know, people talk about yelling in grocery stores at cashiers. And maybe that's more common in America, I'm not sure. But I've literally never seen that happen. So, yeah. And all that other thing, like social media makes it seem like that there's a lot more of it. And that goes for not just people being dicks, but also just the world being shit. Oh, thank you for the 2 months, Stoopy. Because, you know, a lot of people think that the world is going to shit right now, right? Because you hear about wars here, wars there, coronavirus, climate change, everything. And, of course, those are bad things. But, at the same time, 30 years ago, you heard about much less. There was no social media. You only maybe watched the news once or twice a day, if even every day. And even longer ago, you heard even less. So the world isn't really going to shit, it's just always been shit. And there are things that are worse than they were, of course. But not, like, in a general sense. What actually is... Ooh, we have a load more space than I thought. Well, time for a big Giga Coaster. Kurzgesagt did a video about that sort of thing a while, actually. I should probably watch Kurzgesagt more. They make good videos. I wonder how many of you actually know what Kurzgesagt means. Although, actually, they have it in their name, never mind. It just means... I mean, it literally means shortly said. But they like... Isn't their channel name like... The full name like Kurt gesagt in a nutshell? Our brains are not meant to deal with global community, only with information about like 150 people in our own community. Yeah, around 1069. That is a real thing, of course, because, you know, when I hear about attack there, war here, I don't know, flood there, I'm like, yeah, sure, that sucks, but at the same time, I don't really care, because I can't care about all of it. And people that do say they care about all of it are just lying. They're just saying that because they want other people to think they care, or they want themselves to care. But you can't care about everything. And people on Reddit are like all high and mighty. Oh, people suck. They don't care about something because it's far away. Yeah, that's literally how we work. We can't care about everything. I'm always like, how does it affect me? It doesn't, why should I possibly care? I mean, I do care about things that don't affect me, like gay rights, for example, because, I mean, I'm not gay. I don't, as far as I know, I don't even have any gay friends. But, like, people can care about a few things that don't affect them, but not a lot. Like, I don't know, there's been some flood in China or whatever. If there's been one, and there's probably been one. China's massive, there's always a flood somewhere. And some people died. Yeah, that sucks. But at the same time, like, I have enough in my personal life to deal with. And me saying I care about them doesn't help them in any way. I am so glad sometimes that I just do Roller Coaster Tycoon. Because we can, like, stray a slight bit into politics as we're doing right now on stream. But mostly my job is just to be funny and interesting about video games. It's a very non-controversial job. Sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes I you know, deal with the situation wrongly and stuff, and people get a bit angry, justified. And sure, that happens, but that happens whatever you do, because you always make mistakes. But at least the very essence of the thing I do is rarely controversial. And that makes it a lot easier on my mind. How are the guests going to get to this coaster? The station is outside of the park. They can just walk there. Like, paths. Thought they can't cross the park boundary. Well, it's not really the boundary of the park, is it? Because I have construction rights. The park doesn't end there. Did it? Alright, faster chain lift, please. And open up! There we go, works just fine. It has always worked just fine. I guess you Mandela affected that. Ooh! I think I did quite a decent layout. Construction rights are dotted lines. You can build 2 units above and below them. Yeah. Well, actually less than 2 units. Look at this. It's just 1.5. But you can't build on 1.5 units with most things. So for paths and coasters, it's just 2 units. Where did the Mandela effect come from? It came from a lot of people misremembering that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s. He didn't. He lived until somewhere in the 2010s. 2013, I think? I'm not sure. But yeah, tons of people misremember that, and that's why it's called the Mandela effect. It was coined by someone who wrote some article about it in some magazine. And I think she already came with a lot of like the parallel universe explanations and all that kind of stuff. Which is just such bullshit. He was the president of South Africa in 1994, right? I don't know the exact year, but yeah, it was somewhere in the 90s. Maybe 2000 still as well? I don't know. That was before my time, and my history is bad. Oh, I had to drink some water 5 minutes ago. Well, here we go. That looks like a golden oldie. Nice name for a Giga Coaster. Oh yeah, that is a nice name. There we go. Park is coming along quite nicely. You know what I think is utter bullshit? That TikTok trend where you would project yourself to another dimension. Well, that's one of the trends I haven't heard of. Then again, I'm not on TikTok. I do watch a fair amount of TikToks as they get reposted to YouTube Shorts. Okay, let's decorate the wonderful wet penis pond. But those kind of challenges isn't really what I watch anyway. You know what I hate? Whenever I start a YouTube short and it's like that voice. That time that you... I don't know. That time in the grocery store when you said you too. You know, that annoying female voice. I immediately swipe away. It's completely unlistenable. There are some decent AI voices that I will tolerate if the content is interesting enough. Not that many, but you know, some deeper male voices can be okay. But most of it is just shit. Actually, this is perfect. We don't need to select an area. The funniest thing I learned about the LGBTQ plus community is that some people in countries are like, we don't like gay, and Australians are like, you don't like a happy time? Because gay actually means happy in some parts of Australia. I mean, it meant that in the UK for a long time as well. Like Queen in the 70s, the band Queen used like the gay illuminations in the song Brighton Rock. But I'm pretty sure it does not mean homosexual. Okay, in the same year they also used the N-word in one of their songs, which I think also had a different meaning. Well, not really a different meaning, but definitely, at least in the UK, a very different connotation. Gay in English means that with a very outdated term, yeah. How about a go-kart track? In Pinocchio, the fox thinks about the actor's life and calls it gay. Which is, you know, it's kind of funny to just assume that it means homosexual. Like in Disney, someone saying, "You're so gay." And then someone just like, "Hell yeah," and they're just like kissing a dude. That's like that's just an ASDF movie sketch. That's literally an ASDF movie sketch. You're like, you're so gay, and someone is like, I don't know, marrying a dude or whatever. I know there is also one where it's like, you know who's gay? Us. And then they're marrying each other. I've seen quite a few good, non-offensive gay jokes. Another good one that Tom Ska made in ASDF movie is where a character says, "Doctor, I think I might be a homosexual." "Why do you think that?" And then he just vomits rainbows everywhere. You know, that's how you do a good gay joke. It's not homosexual, it's not homophobic, doesn't harm anyone, it's just funny. I think that ASDF movie skit you just mentioned was from a viewer input video. Ah, might be. I did watch that. Also struggling to say rainbow. Yeah, I was like, rainbow! While he was vomiting rainbows. ASDF movie is fantastic. I do really appreciate Tom Ska as a creator, by the way. He understands being a creator very well, and he's made plenty of mistakes. He's wronged plenty of people, but he's very open about that. He says he's just like, yeah, I was wrong. I was a dick. He made, you know, some racist videos in the past, which weren't intentionally racist, but it was just, you know, some humor at the time that was going on, and he participated in that. Well, like, yeah, I was racist. In hindsight, and he takes responsibility for that. He's like, yeah, I did that, it was wrong. I've taken the videos online, I apologize. I think, you know, I think he's just being a very good influencer. When a girl sleeps with many men, she's called a slut, but when a man does the same, he's gay. Yeah, I've heard that joke in many different variations. It's great. A lot of times old is good. Yeah, I think a lot of the creators that have been on the platform for 15 plus years are really good and have good understanding. It's like Ian and Anthony from Smosh as well. I think they also have a really good understanding of just the creator economy and the creator space and how, you know, how to be a good influencer. And they've done they do a series called Flashback with Smosh, and every now and then, you know, mostly videos 2011 to 2014, every now and then a video comes up and they're like, well, that was a bit misogynistic. Whoops, well, that's what we did back then, sorry. And just like, yeah, you know, you did that back then, and back then that was just what you did, and it's not really a big problem if you just acknowledge it and say, like, yeah, you know, that was in hindsight a bit wrong, then it's fine. No one makes a big deal of it. Has all the snow melted in the Netherlands yet? Oh, I will complain about that. Some of it's still there. But apparently the south of Limburg is going to get a lot of snow soon. Like 10 centimeters, 5 to 10 centimeters. But we are getting nothing. I want snow! Ugh, I'm mad. I want snow. Ow. We always get the boring weather. Like, we rarely get, like, strong winds. We don't get snow. We always get the ultra boring weather. Which on one hand is good. Because it means less problems with weather. But it's also boring. But you have earthquake. No, I don't. I've never felt an earthquake in my life. Well, one in Croatia, but not in the Netherlands. Like, I'm too southern for that. Although I'm glad I don't have those. Did you see Max's Discord my story and pictures of me going to a Dutch breakfast restaurant? No. Wait, a Dutch breakfast restaurant? What do they serve there? Because the standard Dutch breakfast is just like some 2 slices of bread with cheese or hagelslag or peanut butter or whatever. But that's not really something that a restaurant typically serves. Not even in the Netherlands. You know, like I sent you the menu. Where? In Amazing Foodstuffs? Because I don't see you spending it specifically to me. I was in the chatting channel. Let's have a look. Well, a while ago, apparently. I'm scrolling up. Ah, found it. Okay, so where's the... Craving tomato juice. That's so Dutch. What? No one drinks tomato juice here. No one drinks tomato juice. I mean, some people do, but not commonly. I mean, I'm not putting that on the main screen because it's, you know, Discord, but every season is strawberry season. Yeah, but we don't drink strawberry juice. Oh, there's the film menu. I can open that. Let's see. Open link. Alright, here we go. Can we read that? That's the question. Dutch pannenkoeken, pancakes. We can sort of read it. I mean, it's not... Yeah, pannenkoeken, I mean, we don't really eat it for breakfast often, though. I mean, sure, sometimes. Fresh pressed orange juice. Now that's Dutch. That's Dutch. Like, I've been out 3 times in the past month, and every time I've had at least one freshly juiced orange juice. Not for breakfast, because I never go to restaurants for breakfast. But yeah, well, as a kid, I had fresh orange juice every day. Like, literally every single day, without exception. And that's a thing that a lot more people do. Because, you know, Mom would wake up, make us breakfast, and squeeze some oranges. That's just what you do. What we did. That was just part of normal life. What's this supposed to be? They squeezed it here right in front of you to give you the Dutch experience. Yeah, they don't really do that in restaurants here, but you can, like, most restaurants do have it. Okay, I can't really read this, unfortunately. I mean, sweet. That's king sugar? Brown sugar? I mean, yeah, pancake with sugar. Very common. Ginger. Genuine maple syrup. I mean, maple syrup is very much not Dutch. We do have some kind of syrup. What's it called? I forgot what the Dutch word is, but basically, or the English word. But basically this stuff. That's what we put on pancakes. But that's different from maple syrup. There's a word for this, but I forgot. Sugar syrup. Oh, just sugar syrup? I thought it was a different word for it. Read to the left. Classic savory. I mean, I can't really read that. I think that says ham. Bottom left. Oh. Oh yeah, that's it. A dank? That probably does not say dank, but a dank Dutch style sugar syrup. Best enjoyed over our traditional pannenkoeken? Oh, dark. I prefer dank. Okay, so yeah, this is fairly Dutch. There are some things that are like, no, we don't do that, but other things like, yeah, you know, they got it right enough. I can see where they're coming from. It works for me. There's not a picture of the menu. Yeah, I saw it, but yeah, I'm done with it now. A tosti, yeah, that's quite Dutch. Tosti ham cheese. I think that's not connected. How can I see that? Okay, like that. Let me return that roof to its rightful place. There we go. What would be... I wonder what the most Dutch thing is that we eat. AKA the thing that we eat commonly in the Netherlands that is enjoyed the least commonly in other countries. Because there are things we enjoy here that lots of other people do as well, of course. A cop salon. I don't think that's common enough. Stampot, perhaps. I mean, do they not have Stampot? Like, they might do it slightly differently, but I assume the basic thing might still be there. Or is it not? I've heard it being Dutch, so perhaps. Hagelslag, yeah, I guess Hagelslag. What ride shall we build? How about a flying saucers? There are clogs and windmills and tulips all over the Netherlands. Yeah, although clogs, we don't use clogs as much anymore. Some people still do, especially farmers. They're not as common as they used to be. I used to walk on clogs a lot. In fact, I have a really sweet story with that. So my brother and I walked on clogs so much, and we outgrew a lot of them, of course, as you do when you're a kid. And there was a French guy called Jean-Pierre who always stood in the summer on a certain camping place called Camping Le Slochberg near the little village of Krut. And he collected clogs. So whenever we outgrew some clogs or the clogs got too worn, we would just wait until we visited Krut and give our clogs to him. And he had because he had a place there which you just, he wasn't there every now and then. He was there always. So, God, why are the words escaping me? Basically, he always had the same permanent. That's the word. Why couldn't I think of the word permanent? He had a permanent place there, and he had a whole wall with clogs. And he also spoke a few words Dutch. Literally a handful. Because we would play Jeu de Boule at the camping. With him. Sometimes. As with all the other old people there. But also sometimes kids. And we were some of the kids that played there. And if we ever played Jeu de Boule with him... if a shot was bad, he would say waardeloos. Waardeloos is the Dutch word for useless, terrible. So he kind of learned the Dutch word for that and said it with this kind of French accent. And of course we didn't speak French. I mean, we could count, we could say a few words, but that's about it. It was absolutely hilarious. He was a very good man. He was just very jolly. This is a lovely guy. There were lots of people that were there every season. There were even another Dutch couple who were there a lot and who we saw often. Only on that camping. And yeah, we went there often too. Nearly every year. But it's absolutely great because you would walk to the Jeu de Boule track. Or pétanque, as they actually call it in French. And then, if no one was there, you would just take your balls out of your sack. Take one in each hand. And just smash them together. They're iron balls, right? So that would make a loud ticking noise. And people would hear that. And there would just be people from everywhere on the camping would just walk towards the Show the Bull track. Just be like, yeah, I want to play. For useless facts, did you already have a fact about the door walls that can open up with certain rides? No. I'm not sure how useless that is, but I'll write it down. And I can decide later whether to include it. At that very same camping place, I made 2 temporary friends. In different years. Once there was a French dude, roughly my age, I think it was 10, 11 or so, who also was learning Dutch in school, actually. His Dutch was terrible, my French was terrible, but we got along. And we played Jeu de Boule, and I played Jeu de Boule with him and his parents. And we didn't really speak any Dutch. But, you know, you manage. And, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Of course, never saw him again after we left. And there was also another time, there was a Dutch guy called Pim, who I think was like 3, 4, 5 years older than I was, who was at the camping place. And he was ginger. For some reason I remember that. And I got along with him well too. I think I was, you know, roughly same age. 10, 11 or so. Maybe 12. He was like 4 years older. And he wanted to be a magician. So, when I was at his tent, or his parents' tent I guess, once, he showed me a lot of his tricks. And they were really good. Campsite. It's just a camping to me. That's still an English word. It may not be the correct English word, but it's an English word. It's like just when I say looping. Okay, I knew camping wasn't really right, but I couldn't be bothered figuring out the correct word. And that is why it's so much easier to write English. Because when I write my scripts and I don't know a word, I look it up or I think of it 10 minutes later. If I do a live stream, yeah, that doesn't really work. The thing is also, of course I know the word campsite or campgrounds. I just couldn't think of it in the moment. I mean, just like 15 minutes ago I forgot the word permanent. It's not because I can't English, it's just because I'm stupid. Best damn spiral coaster. I'll see where I can fit that in. It will be the best damn spiral coaster considering reasonable use of space. And I've seen lots of stories about that. People making friends on a holiday that they will obviously never meet again. And they're like, I wonder how they're doing today. It's like that time, this kind of has a funny story. I was 7 and we traveled all around Europe for over 3 months. And near the end we were in France. And we were at a camping place called Moulins-la-Serre. And also there was a couple with two kids called Mike and Cynthia. And they were our age, so just under 10. And, you know, a lot of them I taught Mike how to play claviers. Swam with them because we had the camping at a campsite at a swimming pool. It was all fine. Of course, I never met them again. And we returned to that same camping, I think 5 years later, in 2008, that must have been 4 years later, that same campsite. And in my naivety, because I was still young, I was seriously like, huh, would they, what if they would be there as well? Of course they weren't gonna be there. That chance is pretty much zero. And they weren't. Camping was still great. In fact, they recognized us. With they, I mean the people who worked at the campsite. Literally, it'd been 4 years. We pulled up with our car and caravan. My dad walked into the reception, and the guy that was like, "Ah, Monsieur Vos." You can't make that up. But he remembered us. But also, the funny story is the girl, Cynthia, she was right about the age where, you know, at 8 or 9, 10 maybe, I'm not sure, where you just, you know, you start developing your body. And she was starting developing her breasts, right? And so, for the first time of swimming, she was not wearing a top. Because, you know, you're 8, you don't need to. But, like, a few days later, she did wear a top. And I remember asking, why do you wear one right now? Not realizing why she would. And I don't know what she explained to me. But that was... I mean, it was a totally innocent question, of course. Me not thinking about anything. Me being 7 years old. Hold up, where's this going? I mean, we're talking about the 7-year-old doing this, right? This wasn't 2004. A tough question, nice. How much space do I have here? Way more than I again thought. There's plenty of space. This is a very helix heavy coaster. That was a very wonderful campsite. They had very large caravan places. Up to, I think, 200 square meters. Which is quite large. I've been to so many different campgrounds over the years, and I have, for quite a few of them, I have stories. There was the one in Italy, also in 2004, where the lady that oversaw the swimming pool was worried my brother and I were gonna drown. Not because we couldn't swim, but because she was not used to kids our age being able to swim well enough. First of all, at that campsite, the swimming pool was not filled when we arrived. It was fully empty. Which was a bit odd. It was, I think, June. But they filled it while we were there. And then my brother and I used to play a game called Diver. So we would just throw something to the bottom of the pool and we'd have to dive it up. You know, very simple. We could swim. Of course we could swim, because we're Dutch. We were taught. But apparently that lady was like, is that alright? Are they going to be fine? So they called our parents, and the parents were like, yeah? What's wrong? But apparently Italian kids don't swim that well at that age yet. Girlfriends. No, I never had a camping girlfriend. Although, interestingly, 2 friends of mine in high school, they weren't camping boyfriend or girlfriend or anything. But they did meet on a camping in Italy before meeting again years later in high school. They just recognized each other. That sounds like a young adult romance novel. Yeah, except it more ended up with me almost dating her in high school, not him. So would have been kind of going another way. My parents first met on a holiday in Kenya. They were in the same traveling group. I mean, yeah, meeting someone like that, I mean, that's normal, right? I mean, it's not really the standard, but that's... You wouldn't call that a coincidence. That's just, you know, you meet people and sometimes you hit, you know, you have a really good click and you either become friends or maybe even romantic partners. But these 2 friends met on a camping, then went their own ways again, and years later met again in high school and became friends. Actually, I have a similar story to that. With a dude I used to know from the Boy Scouts. Well, Scouts, not Boy Scouts, just any gender Scouts. Because we used to be friends, and he would be there once every 2 weeks instead of every week, because that was the week he was with his dad. His mum lived in the other side of the country. And we became friends at the Scouts. You know, he went to my place, I went to his place, outside of the Scouts, so not just friends there, also friends outside of the Scouts. But then he moved permanently to his mom or something like that, or he left the Scouts or whatever. Either way, we lost contact. Then a few years later, I'm standing in school, I'm waiting for the teacher to open some door that leads to a few classrooms where, in one of them I had a lesson. And I'm just, you know, looking. I'm like, wait a minute. That face looks familiar. And he was staring back at me. And he was thinking the same. And eventually he walked up to me with like, Marcel? Thijs? Yeah, he went to live with his dad again and went to my school. Was a year below me. We didn't really become friends there again. I mean, he went to my place once, you know, we hung out for a bit. Mostly just because we knew each other before, but after that we didn't become friends, which, you know, happens. Doesn't matter. But yeah, now that I tell these stories, I have quite a few stories like that. Where I, you know, meet people in weird ways. Or coincidences and stuff. So you didn't participate in the Dutch tradition of pre-puberty vacation fling with someone that lives 300 kilometers away in the Netherlands. Not a fling now. I mean, I can only remember one Dutch female friend that I made on holiday, which was that Cynthia I told you guys earlier about. But that was just being friends. Alright, I think that's enough for today. We have built quite the factory capers. I'm quite happy with it. 3,200 guests. I think we stopped advertising around April. You can see where we just stopped advertising and got no more guests. Because our soft guest cap is way lower. It is only 1,359. What are the stats on the spiral coaster? Right, I shall show now. They are 7.13, 5.38, 3.48, which is very standard. Right. Thank you very much for watching this stream. I'll save it in filming parks as factory capers. How many? Number 2. There we go. And I will send you off to someone else. Oh, thank you for the bits, Luigi. Let's see who I can raid. Natty is live. Let's see if there's someone live who I've playing Roller Coaster Tycoon who I've never raided. Hey, someone playing Factory Capers. Oh, but that's not in English. How about Dantooine Orange? They are playing... I'm not sure if that's a scenario that I know. Might be like Bumbly Bazaar or something. Whatever. Have fun at this stream. And I'll see you later. Bye bye. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Meow. Marcel out.